Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Quake Pro League. It's week 10 here of stage 3. And of course, we're starting to rage our way through the last bouts that we have left. Jahar, obviously, we've just seen Hron versus Base, a crushing defeat for Hron, really. And now we move on to DUEL ZenAku.
Yeah, and this is a series that that's been a long time coming. ZenAku, of course, kind of clawing his way into the rankings last season from Challengers, which is a huge accomplishment for anybody. But then, of course, the precedent is set. Can you stay in season after season? And DUEL, he's had his own ups and downs, but he is certainly no slouch. I'm hearing he's a little bit under the weather today. Hopefully, nothing too dire. But I think between his illness and ZenAku's latency, we could be seeing a pretty evenly matched
It
up
might bring
game.
things a little bit closer together, maybe. You never know. It is obviously a shame, right? Because for ZenAku, when we saw him on LAN, he looked really good. And we were hoping that maybe he could bring the thunder from down under. He'd have that little bit of pizzazz that potentially some of our pros weren't ready for. But then the constant ping issues, it really does have its drawbacks to it. Now, he's not really had the best season. We've had moments of greatness, but unfortunately, no real maps of greatness. Would we see anything coming out tonight? I suppose that is the big question. Can he try and at least get a victory under his belt versus DUEL? DUEL obviously 13th place, ZenAku still slapped down in 20th.
It's right now I'm really just setting the bar at they're both here. You know, they're both present, and in 2020, the fact that they're both alive is it's good enough for me.
That's all we need. That's all we need. As long as they hit that consistent level, and then
We're all still
maybe
alive.
we did well.
But yeah, I mean, both of these are incredibly introspective players. They do a lot of self-review, a whole lot. They kind of beat themselves up more than they even allow other players to. So the benefit of that in its bright moments is that they come into a match with a lot of forethought, a lot of analysis, and a lot of intent for the way that they want the game to go. Way back when Quake Champion started, DUEL was definitely the player who could kind of mold the pacing of a match like perfectly to his will. And as other players, A, got exposed to his own shenanigans, and B, just kind of grew up alongside with him. That's been happening a little bit less, but it's still certainly his ideal.
No, I think we definitely still see a lot of that, obviously, right? He can kind of be compared to that like North American base in some ways, where he does have he's got the time turner. He knows how to stop time if need be and really just burn the pace of the game, or he can turn on the tempo. But let's have a look and see if the veto is going to allow him to, as we do have our picks and bans. We can get a little bit deeper under the skin of this one, see if the champions might help him out.
And of course, I do appreciate seeing a little bit more Galena come out. Our last series was very mobility based, right up until Ruins of Sarnath, but a little bit more of ability usage that allows you to slow down the game, like we mentioned, to control the pace and control areas more specifically. I'm hoping to see a lot more of that.
I hope so. Well, opening it up this time around, of course, it is going to be on Keep. We'll have the BJ versus the Visor. I've actually messed that up on this end, actually. It is, of course, going to be the Galena. Why wouldn't it be? We're going to have some trouble with totems, some turmoil, perhaps. Moving that, of course, then on Blood Run. That should be a bit more fun, actually. The old Ranger versus
Blood
Doom.
Run's always fun.
Yeah, I
Always.
think that'll be quite good.
Yeah.
And then, of course, finally, our finale on Blood Covenant. Again, more Athena action. Always love to see it. So that is a nice little treat that's been thrown into the mix. And that'll be up against the Anarchy.
And speaking of mobility, yeah, we've got plenty there. And it being Blood Covenant, yeah, again, it's going to come down to who gets that first spawn on the rail. That's going to be absolutely critical. But I'm sure they're both going to be playing plenty slow enough to give us opportunities to see every side of these maps. So I hope everybody out there's got their own coffee.
Oh, yes. Or at least someone to keep them awake throughout this one. You never know. Some people, they find that even just the caffeine in tea keeps them awake at night, Jahar.
That's not sufficient.
Does that not keep you going? Are you
Not
too
by a
far
long
over the
shot.
caffeine threshold?
Yeah. My insides are just dead.
I'm just in too deep. Well, Hopefully, we'll definitely be in too deep with this one. I hope we do get in the thick of it. I want to see some good final moments from ZenAku here. Obviously, last game of the stage. If he's got some final pizzazz, got any tricks up his gloves, now's certainly the time to bust them out.
All right, so hopping into Corrupted Keep. Finally, a map with no rail, a little bit smaller, so a little bit ironic given this matchup, but it's going to be intense. I mean, first rockets are going to be a big deal, though really, my favorite spawn has always been the nail gun. It's always the one that kind of forces your opponent to make that decision about how aggressive they want to be, and you can react appropriately. So, here we go, getting into it.
Right. Everyone's ready. Let's get underway. DUEL versus ZenAku as we delve back into another fantastic matchup. Straight out with the LG, DUEL going to begin to start swinging, looking to try and do some damage. And he's playing quite fast and furious, really going in, looking very full Vin Diesel at the minute, as he's put his pedal to the metal.
Oh. It was almost able to walker that one in, as DUEL is able to take that first frag, coming back in to recenter on Rocket Launcher. Just watching ZenAku come back in for more heavy armor, but that was the side of his first mistake. It might be the side of his second. He's certainly taken a lot of damage. As he wants to get a Rocket Launcher of his own, he's going to get a face full of shaft instead. Mega's up, DUEL ignoring it just for the moment, just to get some extra damage in, and there's the second frag.
DUEL. Straight out the gate, and he's absolutely giving it. Living his movie so far. What more is to come from this absolute madman? He's on the BJ as well, so always prepared for double the trouble. Rockets being fired through. No real connection. He's biding his time as well. He doesn't need to overcommit. He's not going to be timid. He will push up to try and stop ZenAku from gaining control of the heavy, but it does slip past him this time.
Double the rockets, half the accuracy, but DUEL's going to be backing out, giving up heavy armor and mega, so immediately the tone of this has changed a little bit, but that direct rocket denying the armor has immediately shut ZenAku down and turned things around. So ZenAku coming back over towards Rocket Launcher. DUEL didn't stop to look and listen for that one moment that allowed ZenAku to get a little bit more cover, but 2 rockets means you don't need any more strategy, just have pain.
He's been feeding himself nitro. He's been looking absolutely explosive already. Some lovely tracing coming through with the HMG as well. DUEL certainly woke up on the right side of the bed this morning. Sickness aside, of course, he's definitely looking sick on the server.
Hey. Yeah, DUEL just backing off, zoning those 225s just a little bit. Baiting the play for the heavy armor. He can't really afford to wait here for the mega, so if he doesn't show up here for the heavy at all, it's just going to be a free stack for ZenAku. And a free getaway back into the red room, but getting back up here, it's a trap after all! 2 LGs for the price of 1. That's going to be a 4th straight frag for DUEL.
That's an absolute bargain, to be fair. Imagine getting 2 LGs for the price of 1. It wouldn't happen in this day and age.
No. Maybe on eBay.
You never know, but would one of them be scuffed? It might have like a crack down the middle or something.
They come as is. As does DUEL.
Oh, yeah. But he's certainly in a good condition.
Actually, right now I'm wondering what ZenAku is bringing to these fights. He's getting caught with his pants down more often than not. And setting up totems, sure, but where's the actual damage going to come from? I'm not even sure where that damage came from. That was just, you know, flailing around with the Tri-Bolt, which can sometimes do the job. But 5 up on nil, and DUEL is able to recover back up to 100-100 pretty quickly for a little bit more armor.
I think that's a scary takeaway as well, is even in these fights, if ZenAku does get him low, he builds his stack back up by the time they get into their next battle anyway, so it doesn't really matter. ZenAku's not pushing him into a dangerous position. Talking of dangerous, the explosions come back through as the rockets are out, but it's all up to the LG to tase him out of commission. 6-0, and we're 3 minutes into the game, Jahar. What's going on?
Well, DUEL hasn't crossed the streams just yet, and you say that DUEL is able to recover very quickly, which is something that, by rights, a Galena player should be doing. But we're not seeing ZenAku for all of the time being spent on the heavy armor. Oh, a nice little backpedal into the totem. But DUEL still gets out of there with 20 health. He's able to get the graveyard health. And ZenAku is finally able to take away that armor, but how long is it going to last him? Well, not with these rockets.
Oh, he knocked him up. He was trying to get him in the air and set himself up to knock him straight down. But ZenAku finally coming through with an initial frag on the board. Is he going to be hungry to spill some more pints of blood, though? Repositioning around early on. LG primed and ready. He can't quite get to grasps of where he is. Sets up the totem instead and then makes his move on the heavy.
And right now, DUEL's got to be thinking, 5 up, 4 minutes off the clock. things don't need to be quite as intense. But if he wants to get aggressive, I can certainly punish. He doesn't have a rocket launcher right now, unfortunate for him. He's got to decide between rockets and Mega. He's made his choice. But ZenAku's coming up that jump pad as well with, against 2 shafts, you really have to reconsider the wisdom of that idea. That's not where you want to be. And here's the machine gun to maybe finish off, but there's that totem to the rescue, keeping Dewey at totem's length at the very least and getting a little bit of extra health for ZenAku.
They might be short and stubby, but they're still quite intimidating, and that's all that really matters. ZenAku, though, with the HMG, getting rid of a pepper spraying off. He's really peppered up to try and see where this one will take him. Nice amount of damage done, as he'll grab the Mega to replenish himself, but where's it going to go from here? He really needs to start racking up some frags. He's got about 5 minutes left to do so there is time. We just need to see the momentum.
And you can see that very deliberate shift from Dewey. Oh, great rockets coming out of ZenAku finally, but a good response from Dewey. Able to stay alive and able to swoop in for this heavy, taking a little bit of damage, but again, backing off and not committing to the teleporter. He's definitely managing when and where these fights happen at this point, even if that means giving away a few more items to ZenAku. Because just like Rails on any other map, I mean, getting these pot shot rockets in give you just enough time to break away and force him to think about something else.
Constant spam, but none of it's really actually landing. He's got him low, but he still needs to actually be able to get the commit off and go in for the execute. All out with the LG. The Watts are hitting him hard and fast. Again, though, he's teetering on a knife's edge and just being able to get away from these fights. ZenAku, he needs to push in aggressively, start swinging his way through the air, but Dewey, he's hide-and-seek world champion, it seems.
Yeah, he's able to stay on the underbelly of the map for extended periods without getting spotted, so all those years in the basement doing him some good. 6 on 1, taking a little bit more LG, but defending with rockets, and daring ZenAku to come through that door. It's not going to happen, but at the same time, where is Dewey going to get some health? Is it going to be the boneyard? There's the spawns. But ZenAku's not making that read. He's refocused back on the heavy armor. This is a point where you think, every time I go for a heavy item, my opponent is going to disappear.
This is just vintage Dewey on display as well. He gets that early game lead instantly, just turns it into the game of cat and mouse, although now finally the cat has got this mouse pinned. Can he overthrow? As the shots are landing, but Dewey, he drops down, hits him with the elbow. That's disgusting.
A little bit of morning tea to go with the frag as well. So 7 on 1. And Dewey's finding that one point in time where being in this room isn't the worst thing ever. But there's the plate to the teleporter. He's really allowing ZenAku to put down as many totems on the back end of the statue as he wants, but punishing with all these rockets. What is ZenAku doing? He's just turning this into an air show for Dewey.
I mean, 10 for the acrobatics, but certainly not on the fragging. Ooh, nails are coming through as well. Dewey looking to do a bit of DIY, and ZenAku will certainly be screaming why as the drop comes through. 2 shotguns in play, but no buckshot taking him down. Instead, it's the peekaboo play with the LG to take him straight out of commission. 9 to 1 now.
Dewey's got to be careful. This is going to start to look scripted, as he is just rinsing and repeating ZenAku just time and time again. A little bit of extra damage out of the teleporter, taking none in return. And if ZenAku really wants to, go low, there's no quad there, buddy. I'm sorry. It's just this constant punishment with nails and machine gun. Yeah, nowhere to go, nothing to do. It's heartbreaking, really.
Yeah, he's just trapped in this arena with Dewey. Taking it as it comes consistently. I mean, the shotgun's out, and he is actually getting a couple of tags off a Big Papa Pump, but he can't finish him. Dewey chasing him aggressively as well. 2 guns is always better than 1, but not if you can't land the shots.
I don't know how that works. You pull out number 2, and you just can't hit a thing. Unless you're Dehang. But yeah, 10 on 1, it's pretty much a, that's a door prize frag, give it to him. It's a little bit of a consolation prize. But maps are all that matters in the QPL. And nice. Dewey is doing just fine this morning. We were told he was sick. I didn't know, that I meant to express that he was just playing sick. Holy shit.
Yeah, he's really been coming out swinging onto this one. There's been no holes barred.
1 minute warning.
He's brought out all the tables, ladders, and chairs. Mostly the chairs over the back of ZenAku's head, though. Now, Dewey. A 9 frag advantage. ZenAku, what more have you got in store for us in these next few seconds of the game? before we have our victor decided. Is there any consolation frags to find? The rockets are certainly hitting, but still can't even muster that up. He will go down. That's a 10 frag lead, apart from the pesky totem.
That's the real tactic. Hide a totem behind the other totem.
It's the hidden totems that do the most. The stealthy totem's the one you don't expect.
That's beautiful. And of course, somewhere out there, Kilson is just shaking his head and going, "Yeah, man, I know. I know how that feels." But it's got to feel better to take the first map so handily. I mean, this is Corrupted Keep. Things can turn into a landslide pretty quickly. But there's one BJ down for Dewey, maybe 2 more to go.
Yeah, a disgusting way to kick us off. Obviously, Dewey, you're taking out the mortgage on Keep. That's now his Keep. He's got that one for keeps. Going forward, Blood Run will be up next, of course, and that's going to be Ranger for Dewey. Is there a little bit more we can see coming out there, maybe?
Well, again, Ranger is one of those champions. You've got Ranger, Athena, Nyx, and the other one. Yeah.
My favorite.
Doom guy. Who, if they get that bridge spawn, they're going to get the first rail no matter what. And Ranger and Doom guy are the two where they're less useful after that initial spawn. But of course, Dewey has a long history with Ranger, a lot of experience. He's also a baseball player, so tossing out orbs is no strange thing to him.
Oh, he's got the forearm strength.
Yes, he does, absolutely. And Blood Run is a map where we saw him controlling the pace on Corrupted Keep. He's able to do it on Blood Run all the more so. I mean, this is a map that might actually be older than some of our viewers.
Very potentially. Talking of old, though, obviously can't teach an old dog new tricks, but for ZenAku, he's going to need some new tricks to bust out on this one. He's on Doom Guy. He's got the passive, the old benefit of the double jump. That might be able to throw a little bit of a spanner into the works on Blood Run, give him a little bit more momentum in terms of navigating the map.
Not the dog.
He's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, can't keep
He's
him
an
straight.
absolute animal. I mean, that's the issue, right? It's obviously
he just doesn't get to pick what animals he is.
Yeah, well, that's how it works. You don't get to choose your spirit animal. You just get given it. It's like a Patronus. You never really know until you find out. Right, but it is the thing for me, Jahar, right? ZenAku always compared him to the fact that he was a bit of a lanimal. Obviously, now he doesn't have that offline stage final. Is he going to be an online animal? What's the difference there?
Unfortunately for him, it's potentially a huge difference. I mean, Quake has a long history of players who, either for purely technical reasons or purely psychological reasons, are two different people online in that land. But you have to be the same person all week, every week.
Fight.
Here in 2020. And here we go into Blood Run.
Straight back into it. No time for these two stars to take a rest as we do rage on with the action. Dewey on the Ranger, of course. ZenAku busting out the Doom guy. Dewey firing off the first warning rocket. He has got contact, but he's not going to be able to really leave much of a salient point from the damage.
Yeah, but he's got weapons and he's in his favorite room now. He's put up signs saying "Keep out, Mom. No girls allowed." Oh, but here comes the orb just to put the pressure on and nailing him to the wall, putting a little bit of a Jackson Pollock off there initially, and taking away both heavy and mega. Having the heavy first means you could just drop down to the mega. That's the right way around. It matters a little bit less if you're Ranger, but that gives Dewey immediate control, and it might last a while. ZenAku has to do something proactive to change the game.
The issue that I find with this is, all right, that's disgusting. Calm down, Dewey. I'm trying to have a bit of a word here. It's the fact that ZenAku, it seemed like he'd switched it up for a little bit, right? And it was more reminiscent of how Nosfa was combating his higher ping, where he would always take the aggression. He would always try and take the fights. But it seems like a lot of that slipped away from him, and he's not really being that aggressive powerhouse. I mean, he's built like he could do some damage. I want to see him bring it out on the server.
Well, right now, Dewey is showing zero fear, just whipping around the corner with the shotgun and taking ZenAku down number 2. Oh, great rail out of the spawn. Make that 2 for 2. As Dewey is just playing Blood Run to the absolute scariest.
Yeah, that's
Mega coming back up, daring ZenAku to drop down on the blue corner, because Dewey wants to make a little bit more of a red corner. It might actually be, allowing ZenAku some time up here in the plasma room, but Dewey's taken away all the small armor as well as the heavies, leaving very little for ZenAku to work with. Being very quiet around the shotgun. Here's the TP. Buckle in, folks. You might just see Dewey just walk around for 8 minutes here.
We've seen it before.
Yeah.
We did have the full 15-minute overtime with no frags, I think, versus Psychiv. That was certainly a treat to behold, but no, Dewey, he's out for blood today.
ZenAku might do himself a world of good if he starts clicking on the left side of his mouse.
That's the issue. That's what I was saying, right? I just want to see him take the initiative and go in for some aggressive fights, really start swinging, but he's not. He's tiptoeing around, taking his time. He's not really even giving much of a chance to get any major items on the board either. As Dewey, when he wants them, he's just taking them aggressively. ZenAku's just on the back foot.
And tiptoeing on the back foot is anatomically awkward, to say the least. So it's not a comfortable position for ZenAku. But Dewey, going quiet once again, just admiring the scenery.
You got to take in those beautiful brickworks.
Yeah.
Took a bricklayer a lot of hard days' work to get this place built. And Dewey, he's certainly going to be breaking his back with some of the frags he's been pulling out. Really still trying to keep himself head and shoulders above ZenAku, dropping down. Oh, he's fighting him off once again, and not only I think is he actually going to be able to push him far enough back to secure it, he's nearly found another frag as well. It's only been 3 minutes in.
Oh, there it is. I don't know how he had that so telegraphed, but the rail was lined up. ZenAku thought that with less than 90 health, he could take an aggressive stance on that corner. That was not the time for it.
It's all been very, very clean so far.
Yeah.
Dewey. Looking like a doctor.
Maybe Doogie Howser, but yeah, Dewey. Plenty stacked up. Even taking a long leisurely route around. He's not too interested in getting in fights. He just wants to hear first. That was actually a good opportunity for ZenAku. Unfortunately, couldn't get the connection. He's going in full force here. Dewey's railable. Could the connection happen? Oh, there's the rail. Back through the teleporter. ZenAku finally getting on the board, and what a way to do it. Taking away the heavy armor. Dewey spawns LG. ZenAku's chasing, which is potentially doable with Doomslayer, but advisable from this corner? I don't know. Dewey taking another rail around the corner. Mega's going to be left up. Dewey can't show up for it, so ZenAku out of the teleporter should be able to find a fight here pretty soon, but if anybody can get away from this fight, it's Null's fight. If anybody else can get away from this fight, it's Dewey.
He seems to be doing a good impression right now. He makes his move.
5 minutes.
Slows down the tempo as well. ZenAku left to try and track him down. He's hitting these rails, but he just can't get the big caustic finale off. He needs to pop him and blow him to smithereens. The read was there, but he didn't go the right way around. Instead, made his move to pick up the Mega. It's going to spawn in. One of the many few he's actually been able to get his grabs on. Really doesn't fancy going inside.
Well, one of these days, I'm sure. But there's the good damage. He's chasing it in. But chasing down this corner is always tough. Dewey's like, surely he's not going to do that. But here we have ZenAku finally picking up another frag. Could this be the beginnings of hope for ZenAku? Well, he heard a teleporter. I'm not sure what this reaction is. He needs some rocket ammo, though. There's very few places to get it. But there's a defensive rail to keep Dewey down and get ZenAku that frag and the Mega. He's got to take an ammo break here pretty soon, though. There you are. Munch it up.
Ooh, the ammo run works out well, but the rocket to the face is certainly not within his ideal scenario. Drops back down towards the Mega once again, but we've still got about 10 seconds to work with. He catches him off guard, basically sends him off with a free rocket jump as he will go flying up to grab the Heavy. ZenAku, a bit of a heal coming through from the blood pool. He wants this Mega so much, and luckily enough, it was given to him gift wrapped.
It's Christmas.
All past the parcel.
He's just looking for a fight. Now, this is where Dewey gets really dangerous, is when he goes quiet. If he's yelling, you know he's in a good mood. When he's quiet, you know, watch your back. Don't leave any small animals around him. But there's a rail coming out of ZenAku. Make that 2 out of the teleporter. Dewey's in trouble. ZenAku's just wishing he had a dire orb right now. He's going to have to take it the long, slow way, and Dewey can recover. There's 50 health in that hallway. There's more on top of the staircase. And that's where he can be really ambiguous about where he's going next. ZenAku's covering a lot of ground, though. He's not leaving DUEL a lot of time in any one of these locations. But ZenAku's got to catch him. 3 frags, 3 minutes. It's doable by the numbers, but DUEL doesn't count like that.
That coming through with the railgun. It's a little bit of an initiation play, but is there anything that can actually back that up? We're getting quite late into this one as well, so ZenAku, he needs to choose his moments correctly, sure, but he actually needs to make a move on those moments. Big rocket entry. LG is coming through, and he's really pepper spraying him up. The shotgun to blow him to bits, and finally, ZenAku starts to make this one quite explosive.
Is that a jump pad DUEL wanted to hit? He was able to take away the 225s at the top of the staircase. It's always frustrating when you chase somebody up there and they just get like instant 50 health, but that jump pad, that really did betray DUEL there. 2 frags, 2 minutes. The numbers are still good. Is DUEL committing to the mega play? No, he's still hanging out by the teleporter, soaking up that blood, getting some of the menstrual medic going on. But as soon as he pops through the teleporter, ZenAku's going to be on him. There we go. Traded rails, but that's fine for ZenAku right now. DUEL's backing up from that fight, and ZenAku even like telegraphed that with that tribal. That was actually a really interesting tribal because he shot it way too early to be any good other than telling DUEL, hey, I'm coming this way. So there was like a triple take there.
ZenAku now was looking to be in a great spot, but that's not really what you want to be given in the morning. That's absolutely filthy.
I haven't seen one of those in a long time. Oh my god. I can't believe he did it. Oh, that is frustrating if you're ZenAku. I'm vicariously being frustrated for him, but DUEL backing up here. He's railable. It's going to be a tough hallway to get through, and DUEL's even burning off some of his own stack, if you can call it that, just to get that 8th frag in.
Just under 60 seconds left, DUEL at this point. So ridiculously far ahead. I really don't think there's much of a chance for ZenAku to do much more. But DUEL, he knows there's blood in the water. He's looking to just continue on this warpath he's been on. But of course, playing his own game. Going to keep it slow, keep his cards close to his chest. Hears him through the wall, knowing he's by heavy. Let's see if he can get that final frag at the end of this one. He was railed and actually does go down.
You're going to meme me, I'm going to meme you. But 3 frags, 20 seconds. Even Zoot wouldn't say there's enough time. It makes me sad because, yeah, there was a real chance here. Just need to play this with slightly more old school timer mechanics, and we'd have another 5 to 10 minutes. DUEL might actually even die here. 2 frags. That's even worse than 3. That's more heartbreaking. But that's going to be DUEL taking another one. And actually giving us a dire orb frag.
Yeah, we got it, which is ideal. We get them very rarely, but they're always a little treat on the eyes when we do. So I'll take that one, scribble that down in the notebook. I mean, if possible, print it off, put it on the fridge.
Yeah, Mom will be so proud. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. I do like being a good mother.
Yeah.
Well, our next map, obviously the third map, the finale in this series, is going to be Blood Covenant. Now, DUEL is out on the Anarchy, and it seems like ZenAku has gone for the Athena pick.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
full mobility now. Yeah. Yeah, I want to see more Ranger from DUEL, though. It's always so much fun. But this is where the hit and run tactics will need to be a little bit more on the razor's edge, just because you can't take as many hits before you have to run. That last map, there was a little bit more meat on the table, and you could take a few more hits before deciding that it was time to leave. Now, those decisions will have to be very quick.
Yeah, split-second decision-making, quick plays as well from both of them going into this. I love a little bit of anarchy when we actually get him coming out. Obviously, we've seen that consistent aggression where you try and get as many injections in as possible, build up that natural stack over time, and just have a bit of a brawl with it. And this really is the Speedy series. We had some good Athena highlights before with base. ZenAku, can he show us some moments? I'd like to see it, obviously being basically our last chance in this stage. If he's got anything, do it now.
I mean, I wish you had told him that 2 maps ago.
I know. I should have sent it in the memo.
It's all your fault.
All
right, but we're going to be loading in here. And yeah, Anarchy from DUEL, not a pick I see from him all the time on Blood Covenant, but certainly more than capable. It will be up to ZenAku to be more cleverer than DUEL in this case, and that's a high bar he sets.
It is quite tall. It's basically the opposite of Limbo.
Yeah,
because it'd be very easy to get under it.
Right. I think there's a name for that. I can't remember what it is.
No
Something
idea.
jump. Yeah. I think it was an Olympic event even.
That'd be ridiculous.
Very confused Limbo. All right.
To be fair, that would be the dream. Imagine that. Guinness Book of World Records for best confused Limbo player. He just kept
all right, but hopefully
over.
things are bright and clear for both DUEL and ZenAku, both clear in the head and clear in the interwebs. As DUEL gets the spawn for Mega. That means first rail's going to be indeed going over to ZenAku. DUEL's going to be wheedling his way over there, but this is a fight that immediately sets a precedent, and DUEL knows that he just cannot afford to show up.
Oh, DUEL getting the damage off. A couple of tags going into the chest cavity of ZenAku. He will use that injection immediately as well, and he's got the LG out, so the bolts are certainly swinging, but it's the railgun we need to talk about. ZenAku looking as rambunctious as ever. Hopefully this will be a different trend as well, Jahar. I want to see it playing aggressively now.
Yeah, this map really is the embodiment of haha, railgun goes pew, but not having it is going to be tough. I don't think DUEL even heard ZenAku properly there. He thought he was still back over on the rail platform. Unfortunately, that's going to be 2 frags up for ZenAku. Well, fortunate for ZenAku, certainly, but he's also got to worry about his own stack here. Takes a little bit of extra height off the jump pad to avoid the tri-bolt. 3 seconds to Mega, and yeah, he's got to back off and get the grab, because right now, oh no.
Oh
if he had gotten the Mega when the Mega spawned, he would have had plenty of time to get back over towards the Heavy. Now, the Heavy is going to be a fight, and now ZenAku won't have the Mega to work with. This is not ideal for him, but he still manages to get away. He's got very few slugs, just the one, actually. Not so heavy on the LG. Plenty of rockets. But is this going to be a rocket fight? Yeah, he's just wishing he had more rail at this point. Click, click. Click, click, it's still empty! Need more time than that to check again. Still empty.
This is the roughest fight between these two. God. It was just so awkward the entire time. And Jahar, I mean, DUEL's just moved house. He's now living inside of ZenAku's head rent-free.
Well, there's all that room in his railgun, because it's empty.
Well, he was hoping it would magically recharge, but it just wasn't meant to be. He wasn't blessed by the fairies this time, but swinging back into action, at least he is packing a bit more of a punch, and he still has the advantage as well. That's the bigger picture to look at. He's getting these major items, and he's keeping on moving. Let's see if he hits like a truck when it comes to actually landing his shots. He was ready for it, but DUEL doesn't want to show.
Yeah, DUEL is being a little bit more sneaky, being a little bit more ambiguous about which way he's going to go on Mega or Heavy. It's going to be Heavy, spoilers. But there's 2 rails for ZenAku, and he's thinking, okay, time to break it off. That's some really good punishment from DUEL, keeping himself alive to get the Heavy, but it doesn't really do him a whole lot of good right now. When this Mega comes up, they're both going to be fairly weak. There's ZenAku getting the pickup, and now DUEL's out of options. I really like these, like, early... Nice. Nice. I like these early tribals that ZenAku is throwing out. Like, I know I'm not going to hit you with this. I am going to tell you where I'm looking, and you have to decide whether or not you trust me when I say that.
It's just absolutely filthy. Like, a lot of plays that are coming out are so much more aggressive. This is the ZenAku I was hoping to see as well, even going in with no regard for his own safety. Swinging when he's low on stack, was hoping that he'd be able to commit and take DUEL down in time, but just couldn't force him over the edge. He's not going to go down like a lemming. Instead, he replenishes himself and pushes out like a tiger, looking to slash through him with the LG. And DUEL, he's making up the distance, Jahar.
Absolutely. I'm loving these shots coming out of him. Starting to wrap around ZenAku. Just some drop off the edge of pillars, going in for the kill here. And just chasing him down. Even an Athena can't get away from that speed. Or whatever's in that needle.
Liquid fight, basically, at this point, because that's what he's been bringing through. That's the PG safety play.
Flavor aid.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully he doesn't get flavor aids. Alright, but this drop down, I mean, anytime you can collapse on somebody on this corner, it is a death sentence. Not even a sentence, just a death phrase.
5-5. Certainly tied, and the aggression has been a whole lot better from ZenAku as well. We've seen him actually swinging into fights, looking like a anti-hero version of Spider-Man. For DUEL, it's quite the opposite. Now he's on the move, trying to keep his distance between them both. The injection comes out again to slowly building up that natural stack. Rocket put him up by Mega. He will miss, but it won't really matter. They've got their distance.
So a full reset here as we hit just about the halfway point. And that reset is going to mean that they're both adequately stacked. ZenAku doesn't have anything heavy, but at least he's a full natural. Not anymore, though. Here comes the rail. He has to double, triple tap through the teleporter just to stay alive, just to stay away from DUEL. But when it comes back to the heavy armor, ZenAku might be exposing himself once again. Nope, he's just staying chill. But he's going to need to pop out here pretty soon just to have a stance on any of these items. It's not going to happen. That's another, like, what, 20 seconds with DUEL just completely dominating every item on the map.
That's the rough part that's going to be hitting home, is he just has nothing to help him, nothing to build that stack back up. They will finally have a firefight over control of the heavy, but DUEL sends himself flying in with the NA space program as he makes his move over. Rocket jumping in, gets that heavy just in the nick of time. They both have a little bit of an awkward confrontation as well. They're low, but it comes down to the drop down. They hit each other, railgun out, Rocket fired off, but no frag found. ZenAku clutches onto his life barely as he starves off the Grim Reaper for another few seconds.
Yeah, but at this point, DUEL's just running, taking away some 25s, and wondering, shit, what do I do now? I mean, I'm here at heavy. It's 5 seconds to it. If I don't hit this rail, I'm in real trouble. But ZenAku's actually leaving it as well. So they're both going to meet back up here on top, and it's ZenAku who gets that initial rail off, once again sending DUEL back into recalculating land. This play up top is not going to be necessarily doing him any good other than telling ZenAku exactly where to go. And he's going to get collapsed on again. He needs to get out of here. Take all the drugs you need.
Load himself up and keep him moving as he will charge around with that extra momentum added straight to him. 30 seconds left on this minute. And he caused a bit more carnage. No. Taken down by the LG. ZenAku back on top finally. Is he hungry for more? Actually charging in aggressively back over towards the Mega. The rocket is out. There was a bit of gauntlet on display there, showing a bit of skin. But he gave him the How's Your Father, and it goes the way of ZenAku again.
And unfortunately, that gauntlet gave him just enough knockback to perfectly line up those rockets. Couldn't have framed it better, but DUEL's going to get a little bit of a drive-by on the LG. It's going to take all the health he can, but yeah, he's just got to leave pillars. That was just a rest stop, really. And again, more early tri-bolt from ZenAku. I think he's aware of how these are not tri-bolts intended to hit or even control spacing, but just to inform. But what's a little bit sneakier are these rockets. 2 solid hits with the LG. Maybe the rail to finish up. Nope, DUEL gets out of there just barely. But ZenAku's still 2 frags up, so any breaks like this really do him a lot of good. There's another rail. DUEL back on the run. Nuts. I mean, nuts.
He's just trying to cheese it, keep his distance. It's not the dream. ZenAku certainly looks like he's living a bit of a lucid dream right now. He has the advantage. There's potential for him to actually get this map locked down. Goes for the Stone Cold Thunder from the top. Won't work off the top rope, but he has to try and rope his way out. Does fire off the grapple, but he can't pull himself out of these shenanigans. DUEL's building back up his stack as well. And here's the fight. Long range, rails out. No actual tags. They're missing on these, although it won't matter. This man has a tri-bolt, and he certainly knows how to get the tags out.
Oh, that's a rough landing. Yeah, ZenAku's going to have to leave that, avoiding some of the rocket damage. Down to 12 HP. DUEL's machine gun has been incredibly punishing. Don't let him near any high schools. ZenAku, though, for all the rails that he's missing, he's not really putting himself in too much danger. He's kind of got the freedom to miss in a lot of these cases. Oh, that rocket out of the teleporter. Absolutely brutal. 15 HP for just about both of them. ZenAku needs his 25. DUEL's got a couple under his own belt. Just a handful of armor. Just scraping by on these small items. But again, this machine gun coming out of DUEL is just as brutal as it was in Corrupted Keep.
ZenAku. There's not really too much time left, so as long as he can try and keep this up, this could actually be his victory. Fires off the warning rail. His health dropping rapidly as he'll be limping his way out of this confrontation. Turns rail to hit with the actual attack, but that is going to miss, and it's not looking great for him. Final 60 seconds. If as long as he does his best DUEL impression, he should win this.
just one bullet away from getting pegged down there. He is just on the run, 40 seconds to run, and yeah, you're right. The roles are exactly reversed now, with ZenAku doing just enough defensive damage to keep DUEL at Rocket's length, but he's got to give up this. No, this Mega's a mistake. Did he want to fall down there? Did he want to rocket himself in the face? And that's why DUEL knows what's cooler than being cool. In those situations, that's where he kind of goes into his own Zen mode. But right now, one frag, 13 seconds. DUEL's got to find it. Good RJ back up to the top of the map. ZenAku's going to be low and slow, down by the shotgun. Is that going to be enough? DUEL's forced to check every corner, but there's the catch. There's the rope. Enough rope to hang himself, but ZenAku gets away with the map. It's not the series, but it is a map.
There you go. The one map victory. At least something to add on to his rampage there. He needed a win. Didn't take the whole series, as you said, but it's a couple of points that will be wired over to him in the standings. It's better than nothing, as he will fall short in the end versus DUEL on the 2-1 split.
It might take him a while to realize he's gotten those points, though, given the latency. But you know, it was a fantastic showing. You know, I was wondering what DUEL was going to do with Anarchy, and there were a lot of cases where it was certainly the right fit. And there are a lot of cases where it's like, what do I do other than get to the 25s very, very fast? Like, but ZenAku certainly had a few more tricks in his glove.
Yes, he did. He pulled them out. Luckily, his were fingerless gloves this time around, so they were pouring out all over the place, and it actually gave him the additional benefit he needed. So he does secure himself that map victory. Obviously, in the end, DUEL takes the series. DUEL was in 13th position as well, so that might have done a slight bit of pushing for him on the standings, but we'll find out towards the end of the broadcast. Coming up next, however, will be Sib versus Effortless. That is the next bout we are going to be moving into. Certainly not going to be effortless, though. It will be full of some furious action. You won't want to miss it when we return after the break.